So, call to worship. Come, 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 come. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, though you have broken your vow 1,000 times. Come, yet again. Come, come. Come to worship together. Come to bow down to the Great Spirit. Come to learn. Come to open your heart. Am I on?
Yes, you are.
Let's take a moment to breathe. Breathe deeply. Come into the room. Be present. Be focused. Be at peace. We come together this morning to remind one another to rest for a moment on the forming edge of our lives, to resist the headlong tumble into the next moment until we claim for ourselves awareness and gratitude, taking the time to look into one another's faces and see communion. This house of laughter and silence, memory and hope is hallowed by our presence together today. Let us take time for quiet reflection as we listen to the prelude.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed day, dark starry night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. and I say to myself, what a wonderful world.
Join me in lighting the chalice. We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning in celebration of our life together. And join me in reading the covenant. In this house, we covenant with one another to create a community built on a foundation of love, to work together to promote equality, justice, and peace, accepting responsibility for our individual acts, to stand on the side of love, embracing the liberation of the oppressed, and working to end discrimination and unjust privilege, to communicate with kindness and support, and to serve with compassion and commitment, to listen respectfully and value our diversity as a source of our collective strength, to learn and grow together, generously sharing our time, talents, and treasures, to celebrate the joys of discovery, from the wonder of youth to the wisdom of age, to openly share our laughter and our tears, showing reverence for the divine in all that is. I'm going to combine the next hymn with the offertory. So,
what is the next hymn?
What's That I Hear Now? And the words are in your bulletin. And so, in the spirit of giving, we'll just, oh, okay, good. Somebody's here to do it. We'll just pass the plate while we're singing, and thank you for your contribution to the life of this congregation.
What's that I hear ringing in my ear?
I've heard that song before. What's that I hear ringing in my ear? I hear it more and more. It's the sound of freedom calling, rising up to the sky. It's the sound of the always falling. Can hear it if you try. Can hear it if you try.
What's that I
Here, shining in my eyes, I've seen that light before. What's that I hear shining in my eyes? I've heard it more and more. It's the sound of rain falling, rising up to the sky. It's the sound of the always falling. You can hear it if you try. Can see it if you try.
that I
Hear him in my heart. I've heard that beat before. What's that I feel beating in my heart? I've heard it more and more. climbing up to the sky. It's the rhyme of the always falling.
And
Hear it if you try.
and feel it if you try. And
Hear it if you try. And hear it if you try.
And hear it if
If you try.
Hello. Thank you, Phil.
Aren't we blessed to have Annie Hassett in our congregation? It is such a blessing, Annie, to have your leadership through music. And the great poets who wrote these songs, they had their finger on the pulse of life. And they just meet us in our hearts in such a beautiful way. So I guess we're going to tumble into another hymn. And this is the beginning of our sharing time. And Annie and I had such a time together, I don't even know the adjective, picking out songs for this topic. They just flooded. They just flooded our minds. And this one is perfect for entering into a time of sharing about how we meet life in its pain and its unknown and a lot of serious consequences coming in 37 days. And every American is facing the same question, no matter which side of things you're on. We're all having to answer, how we meet this time, what we bring to it. So let's start with I am open, I am willing, and then I'll share a little while, and then we're going to pass the talking gourd and see what other people would like to share about what you bring to this turbulent time.
Let's see if we can get this out. I don't usually sing sitting down. Is this mic on? You can hear me? Okay. I am open and I am willing for
To be hopeless would be so strange. It dishonors
those who
go
go
before us. So lift me up
in
to the wings of change. May our children see more clearly. May our elders be more wise. Lift us up to the changes coming, even though it burns our eyes. Give me a mighty yoke to hold my confusion. Give me a desert to hold my fears. Give me an sunset to hold my wonder. Give me an ocean to hold my tears. 'Cause we are open and we are willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift us up to the light of change.
the wings of change, the light of day. Lift us up.
if I should stand up. Yeah, well, I love may our elders be more wise, because we certainly do turn to our elders in times like this. And as I sat with the question and what I wanted to share today, 3 elders came to mind. And
Only 3?
no, many more. The first one is Gandhi. When I joined Movement for New Society in 1973, I was in an 18-month study group on the Gandhi strategies of nonviolence. And I've been quoting him ever since. He became really a guide in my life. And the 3 messages that he gave that came to my mind about today, the first one is, no one has the whole truth. Everyone has a piece of the truth. But the thing that nobody can take away from you is the truth of your experience. And this truth seems to fall into quite very identifiable tribal differences in our country. One tribe whose truth is a return to the way things used to be, and the one that wants to move on with more freedom for more groups of people, more diversity in leadership, and more acceptance of differences in religious practices and the role of religion in political life. The truth of our experience is very conflicting. So how do we stand our ground in our truth without trying to take ground from those with different truths? To not try and talk them out of what is true for them. And how do we live into these differences without moving quickly into right-wrong thinking? And I don't know how many of you were here last Wednesday night for the Arab-Israeli women and their presentation, but their whole evening was about, I will meet you out in the field beyond right and wrong, where we are simply human beings making our way on this trail and doing it with compassion and respect. And they did this ritual of lighting each other's candle and saying a prayer for the other that was just so heart-opening. And I think that's, when Gandhi says, the truth of my experience, it's mine. You can't take it away from me, but nor can I take yours away from you. And that, I think, is what I want to bring to this struggle of differences. Gandhi also said, the more force you use, the less influence you have. And that's a puzzle in our present culture, because the 2 tribes see that very differently. And so we have to make a choice. And to me, how Gandhi lived his life and what he was able to create with his leadership lives today. His body is gone, but his consciousness is still here. And when he said that, how do we hold our ground with our differences without vilifying those who see it differently? Isn't this why voting is so important? It's our alternative to grabbing power. This is what protests that are nonviolent are trying to do. It is important to participate in deciding what happens. We don't need to denigrate the other side. Our power is in aligning with our truth and being willing to take the heat of differences without resorting to violence. And that usually takes some training, because our culture is a very right-wrong kind of culture. And we try to make the other person wrong. That's our culture. But this is a different culture that says, no, I'm standing my ground. I'm not trying to take ground from you, but nor am I giving up my ground out of fear of what you might do or say or believe. So that takes an inner conviction that you are intending in a very powerful way to simply be in the truth of your experience and not the truth. The last quote I will share speaks directly to our situation. He said, "I don't want to win over the British. I want to win the British over. And I don't care how long it takes." How is that for living into your convictions? I don't care how long it takes. But I don't know how many of you know about the March to the Sea. Gandhi started it in northern India with 76 people to march to the sea and harvest salt, because the British had forbid the Indians from harvesting salt because it was a British industry. And Gandhi said, we are going to behave like free people in a free land and let the British come into reaction to us. What does it mean to live as a free person and let the people who want to oppress you react to you? Well, we've seen that through the whole civil rights movement. That's what we saw over and over and over. Them speaking and living in their truth and letting those who were against them show up in the way they did. And it was a struggle for truth. And when Gandhi said, I don't care how long it takes, well, he started in northern India with 76 people to march to the sea, which you know was 1,000 miles. By the time he got to the sea, like 6 weeks later or something, there were 375,000 people marching with him. And the British took one look at that and packed up and went home. That was the end of the British Empire in India. And it was just his conviction and his peaceful conduct of himself that they could no longer fight against. So I take wisdom from that. Yes, determination rooted in peaceful respect. That takes us to another model of courage in our time, James Baldwin. I recently read the book called Begin Again by Eddie Gowdy. I see some heads nodding. Maybe you're familiar with this. But it was Baldwin's personal story of his campaign to awaken white people up to their denial of superiority, the blind spots in their racist behavior, their relentless blaming of black people for all the trouble about racism. One of his books was entitled, I Am Not Your Negro. There he is standing his ground. I am. I am. In which he clearly showed that racism is a disease in white people that they don't see they have, but they have to save themselves, they have to heal themselves. It's not up to black people to change the situation. Just standing in his truth. In the book, Gowdy talks about how many times Baldwin reached his limit of rage and anguish and had to leave the country. Both times for 10 years. Once to Paris, and then the next time to Istanbul, where no one would know who he was, so he could reclaim his sense of who he really is. But each time he came back and began again, reaching for standing in his truth, for giving what he has to give, and not being in control of the outcome. Regardless of how this impending election goes, we are going to have to begin again, just like he did, to define who we are as Americans, as a country that is inclusive, not divisive. And we are going to have to do it with the very Americans who voted the other way. There is no us and them, only we Americans. We are going to have to begin again to make our country safe for differences. What did Baldwin trust? What do we trust? Another teacher for me was Arnold Mindell, who worked with groups of 300 in places like Croatia where people were killing each other. I did a 5-week training with him thinking I might want to join his team. And what I learned was from him is that conflict is normal, in fact, essential in any healthy relationship so differences can surface and be dealt with effectively. He did not believe in conflict resolution. What? No, he said, nature makes polar opposites non-stop. He said, you can try to resolve a conflict, another one's going to pop up 10 minutes later. Is he right? He said, people don't want their conflicts resolved. They are identified with their conflict. They want to be understood. He believed that if they felt understood, they wouldn't kill each other. And that was his only goal. So one of the things I have come to trust in is that when someone disagrees with me, the most effective action I can take is to be sure they feel understood. I think I'm going to stop there rather than do one more, just because I've been at it for a while, and I want you to have a turn.
Maybe you could add it at the end.
Maybe I could add it at the end. Well, for those of you who were here last Wednesday, one of the things the 4 women from Israel did was they did a chant that was, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And I want us to end our sharing this morning with that same chant. But at this point, I want to hear, where do you turn for guidance, for strength, for courage, for wisdom? And I think,
You gonna pass the mic, or you just?
oh yeah, that's right. This is the talking board. And let me see if I can get this mic to work.
Maybe you could just amplify the chord.
You will.
Thinking that.
Okay, is this on? Is this on? Is this on? Okay, good. All right. Well, I think I'll start over here.
I don't know if I can handle all this
Maybe we'll just make the mic the
talking board.
make the mic the talking board.
The talking board. So I did come prepared. Let's see. Not quite prepared, almost prepared. There we go. So this is from the UUA, Living Our Shared Values Amid Ongoing Violence. The Unitarian Universalist Association press room put this out. This fall, as Unitarian Universalists gather in community for another congregational year, let us remember that we do not need to ration our tears. Sorrow for one compounding tragedy does not imply lack of solidarity with another. There are tears enough to go around, enough compassion to see us through. Let us allow our values to guide us and recommit to learning as we go so that we may live in a world where violence does not beget violence, and all our children and young people can once again enter their classrooms in peace. And the thing that got me was there are enough tears to go around, enough compassion to see us through.
Thank you, Kate.
Maria had something to say.
I thought
I believe that kindness is the key to everything, and teaching people if they're willing to listen and willing to listen and willing to understand things, it's okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm Karen Schaefer, and I have a quote from Eleanor Roosevelt.
Closer.
Okay. I also wanted to say that 1960 was one of the most turbulent times in my life. I had graduated from high school in 1960, and I had a good friend, and she had gone to Antioch College with me, and she suggested, did we want to move someplace together? And I said, well, I hear Cambridge, Massachusetts is a cool place. So, but Eleanor Roosevelt said, you cannot take anything personally. You cannot bear grudges. You must finish the day's work when the day's work is done. You cannot get discouraged too easily. You have to take defeat over and over again and pick up and go on. Be sure of your facts. Argue the other side with a friend until you have found the answer to every point which might be brought up against you. Women who are willing to be leaders must stand out and be shot at. More and more they're going to do it, and more they should do it. Every political woman needs to develop the skin as tough as a rhinoceros hide. And in 1960, when I graduated from high school at Washington Lee High School, which was, I didn't go to my graduation because they finally had admitted 5 Negro boys to the school. We have been fighting for integrating the schools, and the high school had about 1,000 students each year. It was a 3-year high school. So it was 5 African American boys that started there. And we were the only ones that would sit at the table, our youth group, the Unitarian youth group, and we would sit with them in the cafeteria. And there were always at least 2 assistant principals that would stand around our table. And one of the guys in our youth group, I remember, I forget his name now, but he looked up at one of the assistant principals and said, "How come you guys stand around here? What do you think's going to happen, a race riot?" And then I also, after I graduated from high school, I then started Antioch College. But also in 1960, there was the White House Conference on Children and Youth. And since I was in DC, I attended it, and I got to meet Eleanor Roosevelt in person.
Wow, wow.
I was thrilled, and that's why she's one of my heroes.
Good. Let's just pass the mic around and...
I also have one other thing. Can I read the other thing? This is the tagline that's on when I send an email to someone. And it's a quote from some ancient text in India. Learning is the best of all wealth. It's easy to carry. Thieves cannot steal it, and tyrants cannot seize it. Neither can fire nor water can destroy it. And far from decreasing, it increases by giving.
Wow, beautiful. Beautiful.
There's a subtitle to a movie about Gil Scott-Heron, brilliant musician and revolutionary activist. The movie's called Black Wax, and the subtitle is The Most Dangerous Musician in America. Gil Scott-Heron said that words are for the mind, notes are for the soul. He also said that I have believed in my convictions and been convicted for my beliefs. I have been conned by the Constitution and held up by the police. And I feel that the corollary to Gil Scott's fiery revolutionary zeal, he is the one, he's probably best known for The Revolution Will Not Be Televised, is Langston Hughes, who wrote something that I don't think is often quoted, and it's certainly nothing heavy, but it's a great piece of wisdom. My motto as I live and learn is to dig and be dug in return. And I feel that reciprocity may be one of the most important adhesives to these turbulent times. That, to seek first to understand before trying to be understood, which is the fifth habit of Stephen Covey's famous 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. All of those, to me, speak to one of the greatest part of our human nature, which is that we want to be appreciated. And at our best, we want to appreciate in return. And that's why I come to All Souls, because I feel it's a chance for us to sit in circle, for us to have services in which we experience things, now just making an I statement, I experience things that I deeply appreciate. When people speak their truth, when people have the courage to voice something that takes bravery, I deeply appreciate that. And when I have a chance to say my truth and feel heard and understood, then I experienced that moment where I got a chance to dig and be dug in return. I don't know, has anyone over here got something they'd like to add?
Keep it going.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm Emery. I think I have I'm having a lot of thoughts, but I'm just going to ramble through them. I just got back last night, actually, from canvassing in Philadelphia for the election. And we were canvassing in a section outside of Philly that was historically very Republican and is now switching a little bit. And we were supposed to be talking mainly to Democrats and, let me take this off so it's not, mainly to Democrats and independent voters, but we ended up talking to a lot of Trump supporters. I'm not quite sure why that is. Some of the people think that they might have flipped. They might have been independent and now are strong Trump voters. But I was thinking a lot about all of this as I was talking to them. And I found myself getting very angry, but not at them, at the fact that most of the people, even the undecided voters we were talking to, were like, well, no one is doing anything for me. Why should I vote for either of them? Because no one is doing anything. We're under Biden right now, and my life hasn't gotten any better. So what difference does it make? And yeah, it pissed me off because I was like, yeah, you're kind of right, honestly. I do believe there is a difference, and that's why I'm out here canvassing for Kamala Harris. And you're right that they're not doing enough. And yeah, I don't know, I was thinking about that, and I've been thinking a lot about a saying that I heard that was, we need to be hard on structures and soft on people. And it had me thinking a lot about that in terms of the presidential election of who is actually my quote unquote enemy, or who is that? Like when I'm standing inside of my values, who are the people who I'm fighting against? And that actually not being Trump voters, I don't think. But being, yeah, I think that there's a lot of similar pain that I'm inside of about how you actually survive in this world. They've just, from my perspective, been kind of lied to about who's to blame for that. Yeah, I don't know. That's some things I'm thinking about.
Thank you so much for sharing about that. Is this better this way or this way? Does it not matter?
Just close to your mouth.
Okay. Yeah, so many thoughts that are floating around. I guess I'll start with the dogs. I'm just like, I came in here with a lot of joys and sorrows on my mind, and just, I was feeling so much joy with the tail wagging of my dog. And just, I guess what I'm getting is, in this case, there's a sister kind of dynamic where they're drawn to each other, but I'm feeling like this is, they're needing to regulate their nervous systems, they're needing to trust that it's okay, that they can just be in the same space and not be all over each other as they would be if they were allowed to. So anyway, I just think it's a little like what we all need to learn when it comes to things that are upsetting or conflict in particular, just being able, or even attraction, being able to kind of settle down, be in one's own space, and just be with what is. So I'm just kind of feeling like I'm in that little moment with the dogs right now around it. And I'm feeling some guilt and shame about not doing anything to use my skills around the election right now. And I'm just going to let that go. The last election, I put everything on hold, and I said that I was not going to do anything except like phone banking. And I did a bunch of it, and it felt very discouraging to me, or anyway.
What do you trust, Robin?
What do I trust? Well, I really appreciate, I was just going to say, actually, Sandra, I really appreciate the message you were sharing about whatever happens, we have work to do. And so I guess I trust that whatever happens, it's not too late for, if things don't go the way I would like in the election, it may be a catalyst for even more change, and either way, if they do go the way I would like, I think either way, there's going to be a lot of rough waters, a lot of difficulty. So I was just listening to NPR right when I got out of the car, and they were talking about people that won't vote for either candidate because of what's happening in Gaza. And as a Jew, I've been feeling really paralyzed about speaking out, or I just a whirlwind of thoughts. One other thing I want to share is that I was very involved in learning about and facilitating some dialogue across differences work when Trump first got elected. And one of the issues that we faced in a group in Northampton that I was instrumental in getting started was nobody knew any Reds. people didn't know anyone to dialogue with. And we were spending a lot of our energy trying to find them. And now I've moved to Greenfield, and it just so happens, I think I'm surrounded. My neighbors on each side and across the street. And I have been avoiding putting out any signs. I've just been avoiding the whole thing because I just want peace. And I know that in one case I have a good relationship with these neighbors, and I think that we can talk about it. I'm just scared too. So I guess I just want to acknowledge that's something that I could do. So, thank you.
Hi.
Say your name.
Oh, I'm Tina. And I struggle with this book. I'm holding back on being too spiteful and sharing things that say, you do this, you say that. I'm trying to maybe post a quote from somebody that is truly a quote, and that's a fact. Or something I believe, something I am worried about, and not trying to insult anybody. Sometimes I will post somebody singing a song that is a little bit of a satire, which I'm just sharing it, but I'm not saying, well, you're an idiot if you think this. I'm trying not to also respond to those things. And I share facts about subjects that I hope that people can learn from without me trying to tell them that they need to think differently. And I have hope that people like my brother, who has different beliefs, is now an uncle of someone who is non-binary, and he's a brother of someone who has a lot of trans friends. And I just hope that he can learn from that. And the one thing I do pretty much every night is I do the full version of the Serenity Prayer. So I'm going to do that now. Higher power, which I believe is we are all part of. And it's the first part is simple, but some people misinterpret that. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. The courage to change the things I can, which is my response to things and my power, not me trying to fix something else. And the wisdom to know the difference. But then there's grant me patience with the changes that take time. Appreciation of all that I have. And my favorite one, tolerance of those with different struggles. And the strength to get up and try again one day at a time.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I guess we're all sharing. My name is Jamie. I don't know if this...
Yeah, it's on.
Yeah, we hear
Okay.
you, dear.
It's great to be back here. I came a few times last year, and it's nice to be back here again. I guess what's striking me as I'm listening to everybody talk and hearing so much that resonates with me as well is that this really feels like a space that feels safe for people to talk about difficult feelings and emotions, like going canvassing and feeling angry not at the people the Republican voters that you're talking to, but at kind of the systems and structures and institutions that have failed us. And for you, Robin, like the idea that, feeling guilt and shame for not doing enough, I felt that too. And I think, Sandra, when you were talking about, I can't remember the name of the person you said, but the person who said, I'm not interested in conflict resolution. I just want a space where people can feel heard and understood. Mm-hmm. And how in all the noise that there is in modern life, like how hard it is sometimes to feel heard and understood. So, so when you asked earlier, I think you asked Robin, like, what do you trust? One of the things I trust is spaces like this where people can feel heard and understood. So thanks for that.
Good morning. My name's Russ. I have a chorus from a song by John Prine, who was a singer-songwriter that I listened to for many years. What he sang and what he spoke of, it worked for me. And he died a few years ago, and it continues to work for me. And one of his songs from, I think it was from 1978, called Chain of Sorrow, the chorus, sometimes it just comes to mind when I guess I need it and I'm not looking for it. And I'm not going to sing it, I'll just speak it out. You can gaze out the window, get mad and get madder. Throw your hands in the air and say, what does it matter? But it don't do no good to get angry, so help me, I know. For a heart stained in anger grows weak and grows bitter. You become your own prisoner as you watch yourself sit there, wrapped up in a trap of your very own chain of sorrow. Those words remind me that I can get past in my mind and heart what is troubling me at the moment. It might not be easy and it might take time, but it's possible. It's there for me, and so thankful for that.
Julie, would you like to?
No, I don't know what the question is, so I'm going to just sit here and thanks for letting me.
Just going to use my own mic because I haven't been feeling good. I don't want to pass this around.
Question is, well, what inspires us?
What do you trust? What do you trust
Oh, what? Yeah,
What do
sorry.
I trust? Oh.
in turbulent times?
Anything that you'd like to share?
Well, hi, I'm Julie Orvis, and I am visiting to pick up my hat that I left here on Wednesday night, and I'm a member over at St. James and Andrew. We just got out. What do I trust? God, this is such a good question. Well, I sing in the choir at St. James and Andrew, and so that's always an important thing to me, that I'm a firm believer that when you sing, you pray twice. And being a member of the choir is leading people to pray twice. And that mission is a really important mission to me, personally. And the hymn that we ended with, this just now, so the tune is in my head. I'm not going to sing it for you, but it's, oh God, how broad, how wide. Anyways, I'm just missing the first line, and then anyways, so just the different songs that the various hymns and songs that we sing are always pretty important. So I just say praying twice in music.
think Annie,
Watches on.
Annie wants to turn, but
Unless there's, I don't want to take that milk because I don't want to pass it around what I got. You know, for me, meditation is the key. When I can come into the presence inside of myself, I find that I can listen without bias to what other people have to say. I work on that every day. It's there. It's there for me, and I feel like it's there for everybody. Where there is no you or me, trying to release the ego. And I love that John Prine song. I've been an angry kid my whole life for how I grew up and how people treated me. And it's been a work of my life to let go of that. And I think about Randy Keeler, the crybaby. He changed more things. He'd cry at the drop of a hat. Him and what's his buddy over there? Jats. Crybabies. And I said at his service that I joined the club. But growing up, you know, I said, if we could just let go of the word other, I would be happy. Just let go of that. I grew up in a house, my mother, everybody, I call it the house of the round table. Everybody sat at the table. Whether it was the hobo guy that came by, the guy sat the night, the chicken man. We never really had a meal without someone being there. And there was never a word about differences that came from my mother, ever. I never heard that. So I feel like when I come, I'm in a good place, and I come from love. I feel like whether it's animals, people, I feel like people really respond to me differently because they don't feel the fight and the anger and me trying to put whatever I think in a way on them. My desire is to stay with what I feel inside and bring that around like a little friend. I'm thinking about it's almost Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Kol Nidre. We have just a few more days. I kind of work my calendar year with that. Just a few more days because Kol Nidre, all bets are off. Where you've made a promise or commitment or whatever it was, all of those are null and void and we have to start again. To make amends, if I've done anything knowingly or unknowingly, please forgive me. We do it as individuals in the congregation there and as a group, because if I haven't done it, you've done it. I like that. I like that way of being, you know. And the little nagoon that comes is return again, return again, return to the land of your soul, return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are. Born and reborn again. Return again. Return again. return to the land of your soul.
Thank you, Annie. Oh, okay.
Hi, my name is Jean. I've been sitting here listening to everyone speak, and the way I deal with the turbulence that is going on right now in this country is through music, meditation, yoga, and my family. Being a person of color in America, it's very hard to not feel sorrow. It's very hard not to feel angry. It's very hard to feel not pissed off. Because every 4 years, we, black and brown people, have to go through this crap. Every 4 years. We are always a scapegoat for everything that is wrong in this country. And they fail to realize that it is not us, it's them. We did not ask to be brought here. We are what you call involuntary migrants. But yet, we are always seen as not American, although we helped build this country. We are seen not to be smart enough or have morals. And it is just sickening. There's a lot of times that I wish I could leave this country. And when I do travel abroad, everybody knows what this country has done, what this country is. And sometimes it's embarrassing. But you know what? I'm glad that they are finding out what has been going on here and what has always been going on here. But it's nice to be able to come into a space like this and say what I feel. And just to get it off of my chest, because it's very hard when you hear this crap day in and day out every day. And coming from a president, a person who is running for the president of the United States, and his vice president to be preaching this vile and hatred. And the fact that there are people in this country, millions of people who agree with him and go to his rallies and just hooray him on and clapping and saying, send them back. It is just disgusting. And personally, I am fed up. I am fed up with it. So right now, I am not feeling very American. In fact, I haven't for a long time. And it's really a shame because my husband, my father, my grandfather, my sons have both served in the military to allow these same people to preach their hate and vile language against people that don't look like them, don't worship like them, who are gay, who are trans, anybody that is other. And I agree with you, it would be good for people not to be classified as other. We are all the same. Our skin is different, but our blood is all the same. And we all want the same thing. So, I'm trying hard.
What do you trust, Jean?
Who do I trust?
What do you trust?
What do I trust? Well, right now, my inner self is what I trust. And I trust my family. And my friends. You know. So I just hope that the election goes well. And I hope there is change. I have hope. I have to have hope because there's nothing else. Okay? So, thank you.
It's 11:12, so I think we should
Oh, okay.
do something besides.
Maybe that's my quarter.
Okay, we'll save it.
I'm plugged in. 11:45. Well, this has been a wonderful sharing, and we do want to have some time for joys and sorrows. So I think we'll just move right into that. And, well, we need the microphone again. Does anybody have any joys or sorrows they'd like to share this morning?
My joy is looking forward to Kamala Harris being our next president. 80% of women in the United States are totally in favor of reproductive freedom. On that alone, 80% of the women are going to vote for her. And the other thing is that there was supposed to be a woman on the $1 coin. And first it was Susan B.
Sojourner.
Anthony. What?
Oh, yeah.
And then it was Sacagawea. And now what they have is dead white men, which is former presidents. So you will only be on the coin if you're a dead white man. But I'm hoping that the next administration that we pass the bill saying that it's only living presidents that will be on the coin. And so that will leave Kamala Harris will be president, Barack Obama. I mean, hey, it's going to be so much better.
Okay. Go ahead. Joys and sorrows.
A joy related to this is that as I was canvassing in Pennsylvania, I had a lovely interaction with a man named Mr. Cruz, who we were able to get a mail-in ballot for, and he has cerebral palsy and wouldn't have been able to go out to the polls, and he was so excited about voting for Kamala Harris, and it was just a lovely interaction.
Joy.
Thank you. A personal sorrow is that I had someone, a lovely woman, prepared to move in to be a tenant and housemate where I live, and she just told me this morning, that it looks like it's not going to work out because she's having a reaction to the air quality. It's a basement space, and I'm feeling discouraged and unclear about what to do there. But if anyone has any resources or ideas, I'm welcoming to hear them. Thank you.
I have a sorrow. In Kentucky, a friend of ours lost their son, Zach, to progeria. He was 17. They would do a Zach attack, bikers run, motorcyclists would do a big run and raise money for the Progeria Research Foundation. We just saw them a few months ago in Florida when we had a gathering. And my kid and their dad were off in Colorado Merlin was seeing Hosier again and going backstage to hang out. And I was home alone, which was good because I read this on Facebook from the mom, whose name is Tina, and I screamed, and it was very painful. And when the full moon was coming, Merlin and I, they had gotten back, went a little north, just on our road to get to a clearing where we could see the moon come up right at the side of the mountain. We were at the sort of the base of Mount Sugarloaf by the river, a little north of our property, which I just felt like have been so many people, because that area is a native, there's just so, for many years, people had to have been sitting there looking at that moon when it rose that night. And I howled full blast. Merlin got a little concerned. And then I said, "It's your turn." And Merlin said, "You did enough. I'm fine."
Good
But
for
I
you.
needed that.
Good for you. Thanks for sharing
I'll
that.
take one, here. I'll use this again. Go ahead, Russ.
Okay, I have a joy and sorrow. Joy is, in a few minutes, I'm co-leading a brief walk around Greenfield for folks who are in town for the reunion of the class of '69, the high school. Somebody from the Historical Society asked me if I would help her with this. And my sorrow is, because of that, I have to leave now. So, thank you.
Bye, Russ. Here, I'll take one here. I can't get to the end of this, you know. I know, like most of you, we've been watching what's happening in Florida and Tennessee, and I just was like, standing there, I can't even imagine what it must have been like. I was just seeing whole houses float down the river. Whole businesses, 2 businesses, the road that went there, I-47. And then I saw a news reporter who waited out. This woman was screaming in her car. He called 911, but she was still screaming, so he waited out with his clothes, and he got her out of the car and waited back. Her husband was really grateful. Before this really landed, I had called for prayers, not only just for my brother, there's a couple brothers, but I said, you know, my brother, I want everybody's home to be safe, everybody's property, everybody's lives. I'm praying for that all the way comeuppance, and it's been really hard. I just can't imagine seeing myself losing every little thing and the loss of life. So I have my heart is holding what's going on there, coming all the way up, and may there be mercy, and may they be helping all of those people who have to rebuild from nothing. I'm grateful for the responders that are coming there from fire departments and from all over they're coming to help those people, and there, but for the grace of God go we. So I'm saying a deep prayer for them.
Okay. Any other joys or sorrows?
Kate, would you light a candle of sorrow for a odd parallel between pantry moths and Donald Trump's legal cases, both of which, when you think you've got them finally dead to rights, they wind up somehow coming back again and again to plague you. The candle of joy is for my brave daughter, who has shown so much grit and resourcefulness and just refusing to sort of pack it in, and instead has done all kinds of things to try to end the infestation. And in the end, it's probably going to be Terminex or Orkin or some pest control company that has to come in. But I really appreciate that she gave it such a good fight.
Okay, I'm going to not sing the prayer to friends, just in the spirit of needing to end this time together. So let me, and of course after the benediction and the postlude, we'll have announcements. So maybe you could hold on to the mic, but turn it off. So let's just extend our hands, receiving the grace that is a part of life. That no matter where we find ourselves, we can always begin again to reach for love, for forgiveness, for gratitude. That we can trust in the power of love, the power of respecting differences, power of humility, the power to choose nonviolence in all of our behaviors, to choose to be someone who wants to understand and hold the welcome for all people, no matter what race, religion, that we are one people sharing this life together and caring for each other. May it be so. Go in peace, create peace, be peace. Amen. Let's have a postlude, Annie. It is...
I don't know, so many other songs came through. That's
No, Turning of the World. And
right, Jill.
you have it's
that we may turn as one with every voice and every song. We will move this world along, and our life will feel the echoes of our turning. With every voice, every song, we will move this world along. With every voice and every voice, every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echoes of our turning. Okay, who's got a word? Let us sing this song for the loving of our world, that we may love as one. With every voice, every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echoes of our loving. With every voice, next. Every voice, every song, we will move this world along. With every voice, every song, we will move this world along, and our lives to feel the echoes of our loving. Was it healing? Let us sing this song for the healing of the world, that we may heal as one. With every voice, every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echoes of our healing. Every voice, every song, we will every song. We will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echoes of our healing. Anybody else got one? One last one? Let us sing this song for the trusting of the world, that we may trust as one. Every voice, every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echoes of our trusting. With every voice, with every voice, every song, we will move this world along. With every voice, every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echoes of our trusting. Let us sing this song for the unity of the world, that we may live as one. With every voice, every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echoes of our unity. Every voice, every voice, every voice, every song, we will move this world along. With every voice, every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echoes of our unity, and our lives will feel the echoes of our trusting, and our lives will feel the echoes of our healing, and our lives will feel the echoes of our loving, and our lives will feel the echoes of our singing. A little coffee break. I think we have a little something together.